Hey Brian, you seem really happy today. Did something good happen?
Yeah, actually, I just finished working on a project proposal that I have been thinking about for months, and I finally submitted it this morning. It feels really good to have it done.
That's fantastic. What kind of project is it?
It is a new initiative at work that I have been wanting to launch for a long time. I do not know if it will get approved, but at least I took the first step toward making it happen.
I think that's amazing. Even just taking that first step towards something you want is such a big deal. So many people have dreams or ideas that never actually do anything about them.
That is very true. It is easy to think about what you want to do someday, but actually taking action is much harder.
Definitely. I've been thinking a lot about my own future plans lately, what I want to achieve, and where I want to be in a few years. It's exciting, but also a little overwhelming sometimes.
I feel the same way. The future is full of possibilities, but that can also make it feel uncertain.
Exactly. So, Brian, can I ask you something?
Of course.
What's one big dream or goal you have for your future?
That is a good question. One big dream I have is to eventually start my own business or work for myself in some capacity. I do not know exactly what that would look like yet, but I have always felt like I want more independence and control over my work and my time. Right now I work for a company, which is fine, but I think long term would be happier creating something of my own.
I really admire that. Starting your own business takes a lot of courage and hard work, but it also gives you so much freedom.
Right. It is definitely scary to think about, but I feel like if I do not at least try, I will always wonder what could have been.
That's such a healthy way to look at it.
What about you, Jessica? Do you have a big dream or goal for your future?
I do, actually. I've always wanted to live abroad for at least a year, maybe somewhere in Europe or Asia. I want to experience a completely different culture, learn a new language, and challenge myself in ways that I can't do if I just stay in one place my whole life.
That sounds incredible. Have you started making any plans toward that, or is it still more of a distant dream?
It's somewhere in between. I've been researching different countries and saving money, but I haven't committed to a specific timeline yet. I think part of me is scared to actually take the leap.
That is completely understandable. Big changes are always scary, even when they are exciting.
They really are. Okay, here's another question. Do you think it's better to have really big, ambitious dreams? Or is it smarter to set more realistic, achievable goals?
I think both are important, actually. Having big dreams gives you something to aspire to and keeps you motivated. But if your goals are only big and far away, it can feel overwhelming, and you might not know where to start. So I think you need a mix of long-term dreams and short-term goals that move you closer to those dreams step by step.
That makes a lot of sense. If you only focus on the big picture, you can feel paralyzed because it seems so far away and impossible. But if you break it down into smaller steps, it becomes more manageable.
Exactly. Like with my business idea, the long-term dream is to be fully self-employed, but the short-term goal right now is just to learn more about entrepreneurship and maybe start a small side project.
That's a really smart approach.
What about you, Jessica? Do you have short-term goals that are leading you toward your dream of living abroad?
I do. Right now, my short-term goal is to improve my language skills. I've been taking online classes and practicing every day because I know that will make the transition easier when I finally do move. I'm also trying to save a certain amount of money each month so I have a financial cushion.
Those are both really practical steps. It sounds like you were serious about making it happen.
I'm trying to be. Sometimes I get discouraged and think it's too hard or too far away, but then I remind myself that every small step counts.
That is the right mindset.
Thanks. All right. Different question. Have your dreams or goals changed over time? Or have you always wanted the same things?
Oh, they have definitely changed. When I was younger, I thought I wanted to be a musician and travel around performing. But as I got older, I realized that lifestyle was not really what I wanted. Now, my dreams are more about stability, creativity, and independence rather than fame or excitement.
I think that's really normal. Our priorities shift as we grow and learn more about ourselves. When you're young, you might want adventure and recognition, but later you realize that peace and purpose matter more.
Right. What about you? Have your dreams changed over the years?
Definitely. When I was a teenager, I thought I wanted to be a doctor because it seemed like a prestigious and meaningful career. But as I got older, I realized I was more drawn to creative work and human connection rather than science and medicine. So now my goals are completely different, more focused on experiences and personal growth than career prestige.
That is a big shift, but it sounds like you discovered what truly matters to you.
I think so. It took some time to figure out, but I'm glad I didn't just force myself down a path that wasn't right for me.
Absolutely.
Okay, here's a tougher question. What's the biggest obstacle standing between you and your dreams right now?
For me, I think it is fear of failure. I worry that if I try to start my own business and it does not work out, I will have wasted time and money, and I will feel like I failed. That fear sometimes stops me from taking bigger risks.
I totally understand that. The fear of failure is so powerful because it makes you want to protect yourself by not trying at all. But then you end up staying stuck in a safe but unfulfilling situation.
Exactly. It is a difficult balance between being cautious and being brave.
It really is.
What about you, Jessica? What is holding you back from your dream of living abroad?
I think for me, it's a combination of fear and logistics. I'm scared of leaving behind my family and friends. And I'm also worried about practical things like finding a job or a place to live in a new country. It feels like there are so many unknowns, and that makes it hard to commit.
Those are very real concerns. Moving to a new country is a huge life change, and it makes sense to feel hesitant.
Yeah, but I also know that if I keep waiting for the perfect time or the perfect plan, it's never going to happen. At some point, I just have to take the leap.
That is very true. Sometimes you have to accept that there will always be some uncertainty and just go for it anyway.
Exactly.
Right.
Here's something I've been wondering about. When you think about your future, do you imagine it more in terms of what you want to achieve or how you want to feel?
That is a really thoughtful question. I think I focus more on how I want to feel. I want to feel fulfilled, creative, independent, and proud of what I am doing. The specific achievements are less important than the overall sense of purpose and satisfaction.
I think that's a healthy way to approach it. A lot of people chase achievements thinking they'll bring happiness, but then they reach their goals and still feel empty because the feeling they were looking for wasn't there.
Right. Happiness comes from within, not from external accomplishments.
Exactly.
What about you, Jessica? Do you think more about achievements or feelings when you imagine your future?
I think I'm similar to you. I care more about feeling adventurous, brave, and fulfilled than about any specific career title or milestone. I want to look back on my life and feel like I really lived, not just existed.
That is a beautiful perspective.
Thanks. All right, here's another one. How do you define success when it comes to your dreams and goals?
I think success is less about achieving a specific outcome and more about the process and the person you become along the way. If I work toward my goal of starting a business and it does not succeed in the traditional sense, but I learn a lot and grow as a person, I would still consider that success. Success to me is about effort, growth, and staying true to what matters to you.
I really like that definition. It takes the pressure off needing everything to work out perfectly and focuses on the journey instead.
Right. Because life is unpredictable, and sometimes things do not work out the way you planned. But that does not mean you failed.
That's so true.
How do you define success, Jessica?
For me, I think success is about living a life that feels authentic and fulfilling. If I can look back and say that I took risks, pursued things I cared about, and didn't let fear hold me back, then I'll feel successful. It's less about external achievements and more about internal peace and satisfaction.
That is beautiful. It sounds like you value experiences and personal growth over material success or status.
I do. I think those things matter more in the long run.
I completely agree.
One more question before we wrap up. Do you think it's ever too late to pursue a dream or start working toward a new goal?
Absolutely not. I think people reinvent themselves at all stages of life. I have heard so many stories of people starting new careers, learning new skills, or pursuing passions in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. As long as you are alive, you have the opportunity to change direction and pursue something that excites you.
I love that mindset. I think society sometimes makes us feel like we have to have everything figured out by a certain age, but that's just not realistic or fair.
Right. Life is not a race, and there is no deadline for becoming who you want to be.
Well said.
Thank you.
All right, here's a more positive question. What excites you most about your future?
I think what excites me most is the sense of possibility. I do not know exactly where I will be in 5 or 10 years, and while that is a bit scary, it is also thrilling. I could be running my own business. I could be living in a different city. I could have discovered new passions and interests. The future is open, and that feels really freeing.
I love that perspective. Instead of seeing the unknown as something to fear, you're seeing it as something full of potential.
Right. It is all about mindset.
It really is.
What about you? What excites you most when you think about your future?
I think it's the idea of growth and transformation. I'm excited to become a different version of myself, someone who has experienced more, learned more, and maybe even overcome fears that hold me back right now. I want to look back in a few years and be proud of how far I've come.
That is such a beautiful way to think about the future.
Thanks. Okay, here's another one. Do you think it's important to have a clear plan for the future? Or is it okay to just go with the flow and see what happens?
I think it depends on the person and the situation. Some people thrive with structure and planning, while others do better when they are more spontaneous and flexible. For me personally, I like having a general direction and some goals to work toward, but I also try to stay open to unexpected opportunities and changes. If you are too rigid with your plans, you might miss out on something amazing that you did not anticipate.
I completely agree with that. I think having goals is important because it gives you motivation and focus, but you also need to be flexible enough to adapt when life throws surprises at you. Some of the best things that have happened to me were completely unplanned.
Same here. Life rarely goes exactly according to plan, and that is okay.
It really is. All right, last question. What advice would you give to someone who feels stuck or unsure about their future?
I would say, start small and be patient with yourself. You do not need to have everything figured out right now. Just take one small step towards something that interests you or excites you, and see where it leads. Maybe that is taking a class, talking to someone in a field you are curious about, or trying a new hobby. Action creates clarity, so even if you do not know exactly what you want, doing something is better than doing nothing.
That's really good advice. I think a lot of people get paralyzed because they're waiting for some big revelation or perfect plan, but clarity usually comes from trying things and learning what you like and don't like.
Exactly. You learn by doing.
I would also add that it's okay to not have it all figured out. So many people feel pressured to know exactly what they want and where they're going, but life is more of a journey than a destination. Your dreams and goals will evolve, and that's completely normal and healthy.
That is such an important reminder.
I think so. Well, Brian, I think we've explored future plans and dreams pretty thoroughly today.
We really have. This has been such an inspiring conversation.
I agree. I feel more motivated to take steps toward my own dreams after talking about it.
Me too.
Thanks so much for joining us today, everyone.
We hope you enjoyed our conversation about future plans and dreams.
These topics are so important because they help us think about what we really want in life and what steps we can take to get there. We'd love to hear from you. What's one dream or goal you have for your future?
Share your dreams in the comments below. We love hearing what you are working toward.
And if this conversation helped you practice your English, Please give us a like.
It really helps us keep creating these videos.
Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our future conversations.
Thanks again for being here with us.
Keep dreaming and keep working toward your goals.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.